Hey y'all, what's going on? Another thoughts on video because there's just so many video games coming out and I gotta talk about them. And this one's about A Hat in Time, a game that came out Thursday. Last Thursday. And I was really excited for it. I have been following the game since 2013. It was when the Kickstarter first came out. And they made their money and then some. They made a lot, and their Kickstarter goals were awesome, and they're not all in the game yet, but it's going to be a pretty huge content-filled game when they do finally get to all that stuff. But anyways, 2014, I think I pre-ordered it, and I got the beta, and the beta was so much fun, and it controlled so well, and I was very excited for the game. Hadn't really, I always think about it, but I hadn't really touched it since then. And it just came out, and I had it pre-ordered, so I got it. And holy shit, I have a lot to say about this game. A lot of good things, obviously. I'll preface this by saying this. I really, really, really liked it. Like, more than I thought I was going to, and it hit notes that I had a feeling it was going to try to hit, because there's certain, like, vibes that a lot of my favorite games from my childhood hit. That, not to like dismiss any newer games or anything, because I like them for their own reasons, never really captured that same feeling, and I'm a lot specifically talking about Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which is like one of the best video games I've ever played, and the experience of playing that for the first time is something that I hold pretty dear to me, and like I tell people about it all the time. It's a game experience that like I've never really felt similar to. It's so good. It's so memorable. Everything about it, the charm, the dialogue, the situations you're put into, the characters, the settings, whatever. All that stuff just comes together to be a very, very great experience on top of having good gameplay on, also. And A Hat in Time really hit that. Like, it really left a really good impression. Games leave good impressions, but not like the memorable kind of impressions that this kind of game leaves. I'm trying to put it into words. I'm going to try to put it into words what I like about it and like why I like it, but it's tough. I think it's just a game that I enjoy its charisma, I enjoy its personality, I enjoy its humor, I enjoy its graphics, I enjoy the worlds it's showing, I enjoy the way the worlds are played out, I enjoy the characters that are in the worlds, obviously I enjoy everything else about it. But I'll start from the beginning. The game controls amazingly. Like, I'm going to talk about this first because it's important. I will say this, and it's a pretty bold statement, and I would probably have to go back to a lot of games to really determine this, but it's probably one of the best feeling 3D platformers I've ever played. I'll say this, everything you do has a lot of leeway. Basically, your jump is, I wouldn't say floaty, but like you have a lot of movement options in the air. You're not as like, you're weighted, but not a ton. You feel pretty like in control in the air, which is a good thing in a 3D platformer in my opinion. It's a reason why the flood is so important in Sunshine and the spin is so important in Galaxy. It gives you that extra freedom in the air. It lets you land and precisely land at jumps, and it helps you platform, which is important. I think they took those notes actually, because in A Hat in Time you have a dive, similar to how Sunshine has the dive, but in A Hat in Time you can cancel the dive into your jump. So halfway through the jump, or halfway through the dive, you can jump out of it. You don't get any height from it, but you do kind of like reposition yourself. You're not in that dive state. You stop your momentum so you can reposition yourself. And basically that makes for a long jump that you can cancel into just landing normally. It makes like landing and just jumping and platforming like infinitely more satisfying. I can't describe it, but it's so perfect, and it feels so tight. It feels nice. It doesn't feel weird. The dive doesn't feel too much like too much. it all feels very polished and nice. And the game took like 4 years to come out, so I'm really happy they really did polish the controls until literally release. It really does show, and it's great. There's a lot of different moves you get, and there's a lot of different options for platforming eventually. It's fun. There's basically, the game has a bunch of different hats you can get that you can wear, and it's kind of like Majora's Mask or Psychonauts, where it's kind of equipable moves, kind of. You basically press a button and they do something different. The default one shows you where the objective is, kind of. It just kind of like points you in the direction of the objective, which is nice. Eventually, like right off the bat, you get one that makes you run, so you can like sprint. And out of sprint, you do a full flip, which is like your double jump. Oh yeah, you have a double jump, by the way. Really nice. Double jumps are awesome and are really good for 3D platformers. I would consider Galaxy having a double jump just because of the spin. That is a perfect example of kind of how this double jump feels. It kind of gives you that extra little like push, and also that extra little, time to cancel your momentum of your jump. The little things, dude. This is a game that was precisely made, so every little thing is very important to me in terms of its controls. I know, like, it might sound like I'm getting into extreme details, but that's because it should be said. And along with that, you get some really interesting powers. I do like them all, and they're really fun to use. I won't spoil any of them, but they're also really cute because you all wear little different outfits. And so that's on the surface level, the game controls great, and it's made for 3D platforming. It doesn't feel like a game that the control scheme would work in any other kind of thing. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes like 3D games, 3D platformers, it feels kind of like weird. Like the physics and stuff are like. Sometimes they feel a little awkward. I would even say Banjo-Kazooie sometimes. It feels like I'm doing things I shouldn't be doing, but for some reason I hadn't time. Everything feels like natural. And also there's a wall climb and a wall jump, and it's really nice, and it helps a lot. And there's a bunch of equipable badges or icons you can get or whatever that equip to your hat, and they all do different things. There's one that makes it so you don't collide with a wall when you jump into it. Basically, you just like can run up a wall instead of like bumping your head into it when you dive. There's one that it's another one. There's one that attracts like money to you, like the money stuff. You don't have to actually like, step on it. It kind of like drags it to you, like Spyro. I think Spyro does that, from what I can remember. There's a lot of fun ones, but I'm gonna not dwell on that too much. Game's structured really well too. The way the worlds play out is really fun, actually. I knew it was going to be like this, but I didn't know how much it was going to be like this. So the worlds are all kind of different, actually. They all kind of have their own little gimmick. I'm not going to spoil all of them, but I'll just say this. The first world is very much like Super Mario Sunshine, where every level is kind of like an episode. It has like a sort of a played out, you go here, you do this, you do this, you do this, and then you get the Shine Sprite, or the timepiece in this game. And then if you go to another episode, you usually can't get that timepiece in the other episode. You have to be in that specific one. Mario 64 is very different, where you could do anything in any order. In Mario Galaxy is very different, where it's not really the same world every time. It sometimes is, but most of the time it's not. It's kind of a different path in that world. There are Mario Sunshine, Mario 64, and wow. 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy, holy shit, I can't talk, are very different games in the way their levels are structured. I like that a lot, actually, and I'm really excited to see how Odyssey messes with that. Also, Odyssey comes out this month. I'm not ready for all these good games. Anyway, what was I saying? So then there's other worlds where it's kind of more like open. Like you can do multiple things in multiple worlds. There was one world where you can actually do other levels in the same episode. You can get other ones, and I was confused because I didn't think I was supposed to, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is just how this world is structured. Pretty cool. I actually really do like that about the game. It feels like every world has its own, like using this word a lot, feeling. It kind of has its own personality almost, in more than just its world. And that's my other point, that every world has a lot of personality in it. There's only 4, and all 4 of them have a lot of cool things to offer. Again, I'm not gonna spoil them, but A lot of them have a lot of interesting little stories that you play through and a lot of characters that you meet. There's actually full voice acting in the game, which I actually forgot that was going to be a thing, but they went through with it, and it's really good, actually. There's this one ghost guy you meet, and his voice acting is awesome. It's so good. It's a lot of fun in that way. They really did add a lot of charm and character to the characters. And I guess that'll segue into my thing that I really want to talk about. I know, this is already like 10 minutes, but it's the game's vibe and its charm is really what pulls this game together for me. I think it's a solid game. As a whole, it is really good, and it's probably one of my favorite 3D platformers I've ever played, just in terms of level design and structure alone, just in the way it does its things. Really cool, really unique, I like it a lot. Then there's like the charm level of this game, and it's such a weird term to use, the charm level, but certain games kind of have this feeling and want you to more like experience its world through like a personality, sort of, not really through like intense story, not really through all this stuff. It wants you to be engaged in its world just because of how, like, I don't know, how creative it is, or like how, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. I was trying to find the words for this earlier too. Like Thousand Year Door has this kind of like feeling to it where you kind of get into the world because it's like you're buying all this like weird stuff, that like all the chapters have really weird things to happen, and it's always really offbeat and interesting, and it kind of keeps you on your toes. You don't really know what you're gonna expect, and everything is very memorable. Everything that happens is either funny, charming, or like intense, and like it's never like kind of mundane. I mean, it can be mundane, but the mundane parts are cool and they're charming. They're usually funny and interesting. I like that because it makes for a memorable experience. I think there's some games that aren't as memorable because of that. Like it's hard to explain. If you showed me Galaxy and you told me what was your favorite part of Galaxy, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you. I'd be like, I like the game as a whole. It's really well made. It's really well designed. I like Galaxy. If you told me what your favorite part of Sunshine was, I'd be like, oh, Serena Beach or whatever. The part with the booze, I love that part. That part's really cool. Rico Harbor, I love Rico Harbor. I love the one where you have to jump on the fish with Yoshi. I love those levels. It's because they all kind of play out in this certain way, have this certain personality to them that gives that game sort of an extra level of charm. Not that I still like the Galaxy games more than Sunshine, when I'm talking about those games, but that's what they were going for in A Hat in Time, and you can see it too, because a lot of people would say this game feels a lot like Sunshine, and not just the control-wise. The first level, Mafia Town, feels very sunshiny, like very sunshiny, haha, Mario sunshiny. It feels like a level in that game, and I think they liked that level of, I guess, structure and charm that Sunshine did, and I mean, I was so happy to hear this. Okay, so little history lesson, little memory. Back in 2000, probably 13, 14, I go to PAX East every year, and one year the Hat in Time crew were there, and this was when the game was really early. They had like just a very, very basic Mafia Town thing going on, and I remember talking to the dev, who I now know is the main guy. I'm not gonna look up the name because I don't want to do that, but the main guy who made the game, I'm sorry, I blanked on the name, should probably had that on hand before the video started. I actually met him, or at least talked to him, and I was like playing the demo, and I was like, this is really cool. I asked him like, what, like, this feels very like Super Mario Sunshine, like what other kind of inspirations were giving you? And I remember like almost like dropping the controller, because he said like, oh, we're taking a lot of inspiration from Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, and I was like, what, wait, what, really? Like, holy shit, like, I love that game, like, I oh my god, that's so cool. And then, like, as the game was coming out, they were talking more about, like, the sort of, like, combination of things that, like, made the game, and they kept using Thousand Year Door as one of their references, and I can see it now, and I'm so happy that they know what to make, like why it's like that. Like they knew what to do to make it feel like Thousand Year Door and Sunshine in those respects. Obviously it's not like Thousand Year Door in terms of gameplay, but in the way it's structured and the way the stories go out, and I know I'm repeating myself, and the way the characters are, yada yada yada, feels so good. And it does really harken back to that feeling that I got when I first played The Thousand Year Door. I wish I could experience A Hat in Time with blind again. Like, I did it like yesterday. I'm like, I literally beat it earlier today. Yeah, I beat it earlier today. And I wish I could do it again. I wish I could experience that again. It was a great experience. It was a fun, very charming time. And God, I loved it. I absolutely fucking loved it. And it's not gonna be anyone's favorite. I know it won't. I know it won't be anyone's like masterpiece level of good game. You know, it's gonna be like, yeah, I liked it, and people are gonna probably find issues with it. People are gonna be like, yeah, it's cool, but you know, this and that about it. I'm like, that's fair. But holy moly, it hit these notes that I never thought a game would hit again. And I have not felt that way since I played Thousand Year Door. And I know it's as emotional and like stupid, and people are like, it's just a game, whatever. But like, I hold that's the reason I'm PaperDawN. The reason why I was Paper Luigi for so many years is because Paper Mario was so important to me, and it still is. It's still one of my most important games in my life. It has shaped the way I enjoy things, the way my aesthetic when it comes to drawing and doing art. It basically formed my opinion on video games and the way video games should be aesthetically, I don't know, chosen, make choices. I don't know. I'm trying to word myself right now, but it's weird. Basically, Paper Mario is extremely important to my life, like a lot of other games that I could say. But Thousand Year Door might be one of my favorite video game experiences of all time, if not my favorite. So to have a game do that again and make me feel like that again, and I'm not just saying this to like ham it up either. I genuinely have been thinking about this all day, and it really is like that. And I am so happy to say that because I was looking forward to this game, and it was a pleasant surprise. I liked it more than I thought, and I think compared to a game like, and I don't want to throw any punches, but compared to a game like Ukulele that hit the right notes in certain areas, forgot a few things that made those games so important, and those were the little things. And I think that's a good word to talk about. I mentioned this in some of my other thoughts on videos, so if you've watched those, I'm sure you're going to remember me saying this or something. I'm really interested in the little things in games, the little things that keep you interested, the little things that add that like, oh, that was a great moment. I think when I mentioned Metroid in my other video, I mentioned that the little things like the satisfying moments in Metroid are very potent. They're great. That's why those games are so much fun. And I think a game like Thousand Year Door, those little memorable moments that you can talk to people about, that you can recommend the game because of, that you can go back and be like, I loved that moment in Thousand Year Door where you fought Rockhawk and then there was another boss after it, or and when you were on the train and there was like a murder mystery on the train and stuff like that. Those little moments in Thousand Year Door made that game so good. And I can say the same about Hat in Time. There is like these moments where it's like, oh man, like the part where you sign the contract and something, I'm not gonna say what happens, but there's like this cool little twist at the end, and then the final level when the kind of not really plot twist, but the plot twist of the main antagonist of the game, and the way everything plays out. It's like, it's so memorable and fun, and it's just it's such a good time. Again, I don't want to repeat myself, and I don't want to get too much on a tangent, but I recommend the game just by means of it being a good game, besides my personal attachment to this game, but I do recommend it regardless. And I think that there is a lot to enjoy, especially in, I know like people are like, well, like don't recommend a game just because it's, like another game. It should be a game on good on something, right? But like, if you enjoyed Thousand Year Door, Super Mario Sunshine, like those games that have that sort of extra bit of charm, and that's why you enjoy them, I think A Hat in Time will really pique your interest. And if you take it in, everything about it in, if you really pay attention to everything, and you really just you let yourself be in a good mood playing it, and you let yourself really engage yourself in the world and everything, I would say it's one of the best video game experiences I've had in a long time, if not ever. I hate to say that so definingly because I'm obviously like it at the moment because I like it, you know, because it's I just beat it. But it's really good, and I hope you all enjoy it too. I hope you get a chance to play it. I think it's coming out for consoles soon, so I hope everyone gets to play it in some way, shape, or form. I actually just bought the OST because it's pretty damn good, and I am excited to listen to the music and find out which ones should go on my legendary phone playlist so I can play them in the car. I obviously could probably talk for hours about the game, but I tried to keep it spoiler free so I wouldn't ramble about certain situations in the game that made me feel good. I hope everyone plays it. I hope everyone enjoys it. I really, really liked it, and it felt really good to play it. I think I'm gonna hold this game pretty close to me, like close to my heart. I think this is gonna be one of like my favorite games, so I'm happy because it's really great. Also, I didn't really mention this. The game looks great and sounds great. It's just nice looking. It's so cute. The main girl's so cute. Ugh, the hat girl is awesome. I hope you enjoyed this rambly video. It's kind of all over the place, but I wanted to talk about the game before I got too tired and wasn't able to talk anymore. Hat in time, dude. Who would have thunk it? But thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. I make more of these videos. I'll probably make one for Mario Odyssey when it comes out. So yeah, actually I'm probably going to make one for Superstar Saga's remake, which I'm currently playing and have some thoughts on. So it'll be interesting to maybe hear that, I don't know. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.